What really happened to 18-year-old Nolan Wells? Weeks after his body was recovered, the investigation has entered a completely new phase. The FBI is now involved. Investigators are reviewing digital evidence, dispatch recordings have been released, and prosecutors say the case could eventually be presented to a grand jury. So why has a local death investigation attracted federal attention? What new details have emerged, and what questions still remain unanswered? Here's everything we know so far. The death of Nolan Wells has become one of the most closely followed investigations in Mississippi this year. After disappearing during a boating trip near Horn Island, a large search operation was launched involving multiple local and state agencies. Days later, Nolan's body was recovered, but instead of bringing closure, the discovery sparked even more questions. Almost immediately, social media became flooded with theories about what may have happened. Rumors spread rapidly, many claiming to know the truth without evidence. Investigators repeatedly urged the public not to rely on speculation while the investigation remained active. Since then, Nolan's family has continued to push for answers, saying they simply want to know exactly what happened during his final hours. One of the biggest developments came when authorities confirmed that the FBI is now assisting in the investigation. However, it's important to understand exactly what that means. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office remains the lead agency investigating Nolan's death. The FBI has not taken over the investigation. Instead, federal agents are providing investigative assistance while also looking into reports of interstate threats connected to the case. Authorities say numerous threatening messages have been directed toward people involved in the investigation and even members of Nolan's family. Because some of those threats may cross state lines, they fall under federal jurisdiction, giving the FBI authority to investigate. Federal investigators are also assisting with digital evidence and other specialized investigative resources that local agencies may request. This has significantly expanded the resources available to investigators. Another major focus is Nolan's digital footprint. Investigators are examining electronic devices, phone records, communications, and other digital evidence that could help establish a more accurate timeline. Nolan's family has also requested an independent review of his cell phone data. Their legal team believes digital information could reveal important details about Nolan's movements, communications, and activities before his disappearance. Experts often say digital evidence can become one of the most valuable parts of modern investigations because phones record location information, messages, app activity, and timestamps. Investigators have not disclosed what, if anything, has already been recovered. Another significant development involved the release of dispatch audio from the day Nolan disappeared. The recordings document emergency communications after concerns were raised about Nolan. While the audio provides additional context about how authorities responded, officials have cautioned that it should not be interpreted as evidence of criminal activity. Instead, investigators say it simply helps establish the sequence of events during the emergency response. Nevertheless, the recordings have renewed public interest and generated even more discussion online. Attorney Ben Crump, representing Nolan's family, recently announced another important update. According to Crump, once investigators complete their work, prosecutors are expected to present the case to a grand jury. A grand jury does not determine guilt or innocence. Instead, it reviews evidence to decide whether criminal charges should be filed if investigators believe a crime occurred. At this stage, no criminal charges have been announced. Officials continue gathering evidence before making any final decisions. Perhaps the most important unanswered question remains the official cause and manner of Nolan's death. Authorities have confirmed that complete autopsy findings and toxicology reports are still pending. Without those reports, investigators have not reached a final conclusion about exactly how Nolan died. Medical examinations often require weeks or even months, especially when additional laboratory testing is needed. Officials have repeatedly emphasized that they will not speculate until every piece of evidence has been analyzed. Another disturbing aspect of this case involves threats directed toward Nolan's family. His mother has publicly shared messages she says contain hateful and disturbing comments. Instead of simply grieving their loss, the family says they have also faced harassment from strangers online. This is one reason the FBI became involved. Federal investigators are now examining whether these threats violate federal law, particularly if they originated across state lines. Authorities have urged members of the public to avoid harassment and allow investigators to complete their work. As the investigation continues, misinformation remains one of the biggest challenges. Numerous social media accounts have circulated unverified claims, edited videos, and unsupported theories. Law enforcement has repeatedly warned that these rumors can interfere with investigations and cause additional pain for the victim's family. Investigators continue encouraging anyone with genuine information to contact law enforcement directly instead of posting speculation online. We'll continue following every verified update. If you want factual, evidence-based coverage without rumors or speculation, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for future updates.